A plunge into the colorful life of Juan Ponce Enrile. Who is Juan Ponce Enrile? Is he really the one who planted the apple that was eaten by Adam and Eve?
Who knows? I might outlive the others who are in the Senate today. I'm not saying that I am immortal, but only God knows.
Juan Valentin Fragan and Ponce Enrile Sr. is a Filipino politician and lawyer known for his role in the administration of Philippine President Ferdinand Marcos. Enrile was born on February 14, 1924, in Gonzaga, Cagayan. He was born out of wedlock, as his father, the Spanish mestizo lawyer and influential provincial politician Alfonso Ponce Enrile, was already married. He graduated cum laude in 1949 with an Associate of Arts degree from the Ateneo de Manila. Afterward, he attended the University of the Philippines College of Law and graduated cum laude with a Bachelor of Laws degree. He scored 11th in the 1,953 bars examinations with a 91.7% rating and a perfect score in mercantile law. As a scholar at Harvard Law School, he earned a Master of Laws degree with specialized training in international tax law. Enrile was a protege of President Ferdinand Marcos, who served as Justice Secretary and Defense Minister during the Marcos administration. Enrile played a key role in the planning and documentary legwork for martial law and was in charge of the Philippine military during its implementation. One of Marcos' justifications for the declaration of martial law that year was terrorism. He cited the alleged ambush attack on Enrile's white Mercedes-Benz sedan on September 22, 1972, as a pretext for martial law. Other roles in this period included presidency of the Philippine Coconut Authority, through which he gained control of the copra industry together with Danding Cojuangco, and being the general put in charge of logging in the Philippines under martial law, a period during which lumber exports were so extensive that the forest cover of the Philippines shrank until only 8% remained. By the 1980s, rising factionalism in the Marcos administration led to a reduction in Enrile's influence within the administration. Enrile and the Reform the Armed Forces movement organized a plot to overthrow Marcos in February 1986, but they were discovered. Deciding to stage a last stand in Camp Aguinaldo, Enrile sought support from other units of the armed forces of the Philippines and received it from Philippine Constabulary General Fidel Ramos and nearby Camp Crame, who joined Enrile in withdrawing support for Marcos in February 1986. Marcos moved to put down the dissenters in Camps Aguinaldo and Crame, but civilians who were already preparing mass protests in response to electoral fraud during the 1986 Philippine presidential election went en masse to Epifanio de los Santos Avenue near Enrile and Ramos's forces, and prevented Marcos from assaulting the coup organizers. This mass movement of citizens to protect Enrile and Ramos was one of the key moments of the 1986 People Power Revolution, which drove Marcos out of power and into exile. Enrile has continued to be a politician since 1986. Enrile publicly took up an anti-communist persona, organizing rallies to publicly decry Aquino's ceasefires and peace talks with the Communist Party of the Philippines. Enrile's relations with the rest of the administration further soured when the newly created Presidential Commission on Good Government, led by Jovito Salonga, began a probe of Enrile's business transactions during the Marcos years, several coup d'etat attempts from 1986 to 1990 which sought to oust Aquino from the presidency. Enrile and Ramos were tasked with addressing the first of these coups, which was the July 1986 Manila Hotel incident, in which loyalist soldiers and officials briefly took over the Manila Hotel and declared their own government. The incident was resolved without violence and without much impact to the broader public, and the Aquino administration pursued a policy of maximum leniency towards the instigators. Enrile was then implicated in the God Save the Queen plot that was to supposedly take place on November 11, 1986. The Investigation of the coup done by the Fact-Finding Commission found Enrile and some members of the RAM as the primary instigators of the coup. After revealing the fruits of the investigation findings, Aquino forced Enrile to resign as Defense Secretary in November 1986 as she had lost confidence in him. Enrile has continued to be a politician since 1986. He was the Senate President from November 2008 until his resignation on June 5, 2013. He remained a senator until 2016, latterly as Minority Leader. In September 2013, Enrile was again involved in misappropriated funds, this time about the PDAF, or what is commonly called the Pork Barrel Fund. 20 billion pesos worth of Priority Development Fund was illegally channeled through various bogus NGOs of Janet Limit Napples, most of it being used by the senator. Enrile, along with fellow senators Bong Revilla and Jinggoy Estrada, were indicted for plunder and for the violation of the Anti-Graft and Corrupt Practices Act before the Sandigan on June 6, 2014. In 2022, at the age of 98, he returned to government office as the chief presidential legal counsel in the administration of President Bongbong Marcos. He has been executioner and kingmaker, coup-master and minister of defense, dignified lawmaker, and stalwart womanizer. He's a very smart guy. Thank you for watching. Subscribe.